Hey everyone, welcome. It's been a while since I posted a video, and actually, it's been a while since I did any lock sporting or lock picking, and yeah, I took a bit of a break, actually, a pretty long break, but I'm glad to be back and trying to get back into the swing of things. And my first video coming back, and just to help me get motivated and get back into um, lock sporting and lock picking, I decided to do some shopping because I am a shopping addict. Not as bad as some other YouTubers that I know about the internet, but probably maybe just as bad too. I don't know. So I'm gonna do an unpacking video today, and just show my initial reactions, or just like with some initial reactions. I might not get into like real picking or what have you, and honestly, if I even tried picking, I probably wouldn't be that effective. It's quite possible that I've forgotten everything. It's been about 18 months almost since doing this. But I received a package from Australia, from Barebones, and really excited and happy to be checking this out. And yeah, so I've always wanted to get some of the products from Barebones Lockpicking, and just add to my collection. I do have like a pretty big collection of lockpicks, and I'll go, through that collection over the next little while as I get back into the swing of things again. If you go to the Barebones Lockpicking site, they sometimes have some freebies. Like this zipper pouch was like a penny on the site, which is pretty awesome. And actually, I did a pre-opening of this just to make sure everything was there. They threw in a couple of extra small pouches, which is really cool. And I got a few things. I got a couple of locks and a couple of lock picking kits, and some extra lock picks as well, just to have like a good base set. And I'll give my first impressions too. So what we'll do is we'll start with a lock. And the first lock is a 7-pin tumbler. And this is, they call it the Scandinavian oval. And I'm not sure what the keyway is for the core. I think these ovals, they sourced the cores differently. So this is a 7-pin oval, and this particular core or plug has some security pins in it, from my understanding. Reading the descriptions, it may have like 1 or 2 spool pins, or serrated pins, or taper pins. And as I get to picking this, we'll figure it out. This is the key. So it's a 7-pin key. Pretty cool. I don't know what it is, if it's a Lockwood key or some other manufacturer. There's no markings on the key, and I don't see any markings out of the gate on the core or the plug, so I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I don't know, maybe if you recognize that keyway and this key, put it in the comments. There's an app actually I can try that apparently can identify keys and keyways. And yeah, so that's that. Pretty smooth. And yeah, I'm not going to attempt to pick this today. I probably wouldn't be able to, or maybe I would. I don't know. We'll see. The kit, this particular lock is, they call it a training lock, 7-pin. They do give you a follower to gut it. It's a 13.5 or 13.6 mil follower, which is a standard size follower in most kits and collections as well. So if you get those 3-piece follower collections. So yeah, so there we go. We're grooving. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing with this lock, and I haven't made any attempts to pick it yet. Okay, so we'll just keep this to the side for a second. We'll open this guy, is the heavier one, so I think the other lock is in this case, and we'll get to the other parts of this case later, but we're just going to focus on the lock first. This is another oval. It's a 6-pin oval with standard drivers. So this is probably going to be like the first lock I'm going to be playing with to pick. And I think it's the same concept as the other ovals. The ovals that they sourced didn't have the cores or the plugs. Correct my terminology. And they sourced those separately. I believe this is a Lockwood 5 keyway and plug or core. It says Brava on the key, but I think the keyway is Lockwood, and I believe this is just standard drivers. So that's why this is going to be like one of the first locks I'm going to be playing with to pick. So cool. So a couple ovals. There were some padlocks on the site that I wanted to get, and there was also a cutaway lock. It was a combination dimple tumbler that looked really good, but I didn't have the budget to get all of that, and I might get all of that at another time. Okay, so the first lockpick kit is a dimple pick kit. I do have some dimple picks. I have like a lot of the Chinese brands that you might have seen other people do reviews on the internet, and those kits can be pretty good or useful, but they, many of them do require like a lot of extra work to be done to kind of like polish, size them properly, shape them properly for them to be effective and to work. One of the kits, Chinese kits that I bought, it's the Huck kit, which is this guy right here. And I'm going to use this as kind of like a comparison. And I've used this kit in the past, when I was active more than 18 months ago, and for a couple of years, I picked a lot of dimple picks with this, and I did do some work on this kit just to round the shafts a little bit and shape the tips a little bit just to help them be a bit more effective with my lock picking. And I've picked some Dom locks and some Yale Superior locks and some other manufacturers. I was starting to work on the multi-lock before I kind of like burned out and took a break. But these picks come highly recommended by a whole bunch of other YouTubers and people in the lock sport community. And just feeling the shaft, the steel feels very, very strong, rigid. So you're gonna get some good feedback. They do look, rounded, not high polish finish, but cleaned up a lot. The tips look pretty good. Oh, the shape of the tips, it's kind of weird. I'm just like taking a look to see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with them. Maybe they might need like a little bit of work, a little bit of cleaning. Like I would kind of round this edge a little bit so it glides in a little bit. But for the most part, they're pretty clean. I might even do some ramping on it. These look like to be the only curved flags, but we do have other right-handed and left-handed flags of different sizes. They're not really curved on the tip. Let me see if I can just like zoom into them. These guys are just like regular flags, but they are handed. They're not like a flat flag that you can use both ways, or maybe you could, depends on the lock. And yeah, two sizes. So a small and a medium. We'll call this a right-handed flag because they point to the right. And this is kind of like a larger curved flag tip, right? And then we have the same in left-handed. So small, medium, and curved. Yeah, they feel pretty good. The handles feel pretty good. The weight feels pretty good. Let's see. Do I have? Yeah, I have a multi-lock knockoff here that I just bought. So this is a pin and pin multi-lock knockoff. So Yeah, I would do some cleaning on the tips, maybe a little bit of, you know, ramping just so that they glide a little bit better. Maybe round the edge here a little bit because that kind of catches rather than glides. Um, but they look pretty good. They feel pretty good. Yeah, so I can feel around. They're not getting caught too easily. Yeah, let's try the other hand. Don't mind me. So I'm gonna have some quiet. This is my first video in a long time, so I might be doing like a lot of mistakes. Just seeing how it feels like going in and out of the through the pin stack. I think this is only like a 4-pin multi-lock clone. Yeah, and this is an interactive. So this is okay. Yeah, 5-pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5-pin interactive. It looks like. Yeah, I'm counting right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm like looking forward to getting back into it. So yeah, this isn't gonna be like a picking video. This is just, you know, first impressions. I do like, you know, I like the feel of the handles. And for the most part, yeah, they did a great job polishing. It's quite possible that they've sourced maybe the same manufacturer of these huck picks, and, you know, probably gave them some slightly different specifications, or they did some post-production, you know, work on them just to do some extra cleaning of the shafts. It's quite possible. It's a very good steel. If I pull out one of the hucks and compare the flex, it's very similar. Actually, the huck, I don't know, it's hard to tell. These do feel almost similar. Very hard to tell. There was a video from Georgia Jim where he was reviewing these, and the handle came apart, and you can see the numbering on the pick type. The numbering stamp looked very similar. The handle looked very similar, like the metal handle. The cool thing about these dimple picks, it's a full tang handle and a cover. So so it's quite possible, but I don't know for sure. So, you know, take all of that with a grain of salt. But yeah, these picks look pretty good, and I think, you know, they would be better. And keep in mind, I'm Canadian, so I'm also going to be sharing like through my perspective of as a Canadian ordering overseas. So I purchased these from Barebones, who are located in Australia. And there's some logistics stuff and some customs and duties and whatever, but actually overall the experience was great compared to let's say me ordering stuff from the US. And actually these days it's a little bit more weirder ordering stuff from the US, but, you know, there was always extra landing, customs, taxing, duties, fees, you know, every time I bought stuff from the US. It was always about, like, you know, 25-30% extra in costs just for, like, you know, the customs duty, taxes. And but with me ordering from Australia, and I don't know why, it's because, like, you know, we're both colony countries, that maybe there might be like different provisions or whatever. I only had to pay the taxes and a handling fee. So, you know, it was like, it worked out to like 13% for the taxes and like 10% for the handling fee. So it was like a little bit cheaper. These actually came to me very quick, within a week. So very fast, and it was through regular expedited post. So Australian Post, Canada Post, not through a private international courier like, you know, like UPS or FedEx or DHL. So, but yeah, they feel pretty good. So I'm looking forward to playing with these, comparing them, you know, to me using the hucks as well. But yeah, like so far the quality looks pretty good. The finish looks pretty good, you know. So if I were to compare, like, you know, the cost of these picks to the Hucks, like these were about $90, $93 Canadian. They're $99 Australian on the Australian website. If you go to the Barebones Lockpicking site, the Hucks were like $40 Canadian, so a lot cheaper. But you would have to do some work on them, you know, just to, you know, to clean them up, thin the shafts just a little bit, round them a little bit, just to make them a bit more usable, especially if you're using non-Chinese, you know, dimple locks, which have, you know, slightly better tolerances, and, you know, just might be a bit more challenging to navigate. Now, there are some Chinese dimple locks too that are really challenging to navigate. There's some like the smiley face dimple locks that the slit to slide a dimple pick in is really tight. And I can show an example of that maybe in a future video. I'm looking around at my locks and I don't know where I put them, but I don't think they're on my workbench table here. So those aren't prepped for this. And don't mind the phone ring in the background. It's also my belly button birthday today. So I'm not going to say what day it is, you know, because this video is going to be posted not on my birthday. It's going to be posted on another time or whatever. But yeah, so it's my belly button birthday. So people are like calling me and wish me happy birthday and, you know, send me text messages and stuff like that. So you might hear some noises in the background. Sorry, I keep going on tangents. The other part of this dimple kit is some tension wrenches. These are like, you know, typical basic tension wrenches that I'm noticing. There's a couple of elastics in there. Those elastics remind me of like the friendship bracelet elastics that the little kids, you know, the friendship bracelet kits that you get for like the little kids, they do to make their friendship bracelets and share them and whatever with like the charms and all that stuff, you know. And I actually have like, you know, a kit of like, you know, 5,000 of these bands as well, because I bought them for like, you know, 10 Canadian dollars, and they're good for me to like, you know, color code some of my equipment. That's what I use it for. And yeah, it's you know, similar thinking. Great minds think alike, so pretty smart. Let's get back to the tension wrenches. The tools look, you know, pretty typical. These Z bars are similar to the ones that you would get from a lot of those Chinese sites as well. There is a thicker Z bar, and, you know, I haven't put them in any keyways though. But if I go back to this guy, the multi-lock, let's see. Yeah, it fits okay, and it gives me some space. So if I want to pick from the left of the pin, depending on how I want to turn my tension tool, it's not like a super tight fit. There is a little bit of a give. If see these guys, yeah, you know, they fit. Yeah, they'll kind of like do the job. There are some tension tools that I love using. There is a tension tool from one of the Chinese kits that I bought that it's a thick bar, but it's kind of like cut at a 45-degree angle on the ends, and it just gives like more possibilities and play and ability to rest your pick on. Your pick is being rested like on a sloped angle for the picking, so it's just like, you know, a little bit easier to turn and get a feel for what's going on, and you get like a little bit of lateral movement available as well. I really like that, especially when I was picking the Dom lock, when I, you know, just thinking back and remembering back at that time. Yeah, so those are the dimple picks. That's awesome. So really looking forward to this. So far so good. And actually these picks look to be, you know, better finished than the review video that I saw from Georgia Jim's review video that was from several months ago. And, you know, he even said that it's probably like, you know, like just like a one-off quality control thing, you know, and that happens. I haven't worked with these picks yet. Like, this is my first time really like holding them in my hand and getting a feel for them and understanding. But like I said, like, one of the things I just noticed right away is I would probably curve the edge here. It is kind of sharp, and it will just help me glide the pick a little bit. So just a couple of licks with a file, or a couple of licks with some sandpaper, like some 600 grit sandpaper, for example, just to get that sharp corner gone. And after working with these picks for a while, just getting a feel for how they work with some of the locks, I may do like just a little tiny bit of ramping, just so the shape might be a little bit better for me to glide through the pin stacks in the locks. That's about it. And I'm just speaking as a amateur too. I'm not a professional. I'm not super high end. I've been picking for like about just over a year, and then I took a break for a while, and I got up to like purple belt level, and I was working on some brown belt locks, like some Miwas and some other and the multi locks, some of the more advanced multi locks, and I think some of the goal locks as well, that had like dimple, lever, all those capabilities. So I was like but I took a break, and I have a lot of relearning to do. Let's put it that way. So there we go. So we got the picks, the dimple picks. We got the locks covered. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna put these locks together in their own, kind of little case. They work pretty cool, and I'm gonna put the 6-pin up in a device and play with it. So really looking forward to that. Next thing that I got was a lockpick kit, and I noticed they actually put in a little gift for me as well in here. So thank you so much, and we'll get to that a little bit later and see what that's all about. So the kit is this. This is the Expanded Lockpicking Kit, and what this is 8 tools in 20 thousandths of an inch and 8 tools in 23 thousandths of an inch, and some tension tools. For the 20 thousandths of an inch tool, you get 4 rake profiles. So you get a steady rake, and then you get a triple peak, a double peak, and what I call a worm rake or snake rake. And yeah, the steel feels pretty good. I think the website says these are 301 stainless steel. I don't know what level 301 stainless steel is. Like, if they're like, high yield steel, like if they've been tempered to higher, tensile strength or not, and I'm not even a steel expert myself. It's just me regurgitating some language that I've heard watching YouTube videos from a lot of other people, but they feel pretty good. The only feedback that I have is that they're not tumbled. So like if I look at the shaft profile, it's a nice thin profile, but there's an edge. So one of the things that I might do is just rub them in like a little bit of sandpaper, just to knock away a little bit of the edge, so it's not as sharp, and it just glides in. And it's understandable. Like it's actually a really good price that I paid for this kit. This kit of 16 picks all together, and the tension tools was I think like 90 Australian dollars, which was pretty reasonable. Yeah, so we got some rakes, and I'm not I've never really done raking. The only time I've used a rake was just to randomize a pin stack where the pins rotate a little bit inside, the chambers, like some of the medical biaxials or the Corbin M-Heart, which is a beautiful lock, by the way. And that's a lock that one day in the next 10 years I will be able to pick. And But I've taken that lock apart and I looked at it, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous lock. You know, Google it. You'll see what I mean. And I tried to pick it once, and you get nothing. I got nothing from it. You know, I'm not that skilled, but yeah. So anyway, I don't know why I'm going off on tangents, but this is just, you know, it is what it is, and this is gonna be kind of a long video. My first video is gonna be a long video, and that's fine. So you get rakes, and then you get some hooks. And if you go to the Barebones site, like, you can get these 4 sets. Like, this is called like the hook set, and you can get them in, like, you know, 15, 20, 23 thousandths of an inch, and you got the rake set. So it's like the hook set and the rake set in 20 thousandths, and then the hook set and the rake set in 23 thousandths. Does that make sense? And when I look at the hook set, it's a half diamond. It's a hybrid offset, or some people call it deforest, I think. And then looks like a medium hook, like a flat hook and a rounded hook. I'm not going to say gem. I don't think it's a gem tip necessarily. It's like a rounded and a flat. We'll call it like a short hook and a medium hook, maybe. I should have printed all of the descriptions, but that's okay. You can go to the website too and take a better look at it. Okay, and then you get the exact same in 23 thousandths. So 4 rakes, thicker steel. You can see like the flex. And if I compare the flex to other picks, so I have some other picks here. I have like the Sparrows. These are the Sparrows. This is the Tuxedo kit, and they're 23 thousandths. It's somewhat similar in terms of the flex. But if I compare the flex to, let's say, like the Jimmy Longs, and I got almost every single Jimmy Longs pick here. Why do I need new picks when I already have like all these amazing picks? I'm a bit of an addict. There's a couple of other people on the internet though that are more of an addict, but actually that's the 15 thousandths. Let's pull out a 23 thousandths pick. Yeah, feels similar. The Jimmy Longs might feel like a little bit stiffer. The stiffer the pick, the more feedback you'll get from it, is what the general rule of thumb is. But I think there's also like a threshold or a limit where it doesn't make too much of a difference. If they're pretty similar in, you know, strength and rigidity or stiffness, the feedback will be somewhat similar. And I'm not like a safe cracker, you know, or you sandpaper your fingertips and you have like that delicate, you know, fine touch to it or whatever. That's so I don't think, for me, it doesn't make too much of a difference. And you know, like, honestly, like I have some Sparrows lockpicks that I bought years ago that are still in great condition today, and they're like 15 thousandths, and they're still like, is like softer. And I think it's just more how strong you, like, you know, how tough you are with the picks and how you use them. If you're pretty, you know, pretty mindful and disciplined, and not to try to, like, you know, like, just be too aggressive with the picks, because there's really no need to be. Albeit, like, my first set of picks were like a Chinese set, you know, the black spring steel, and I broke half of them because I was that really over aggressive, you know, picker. I didn't know about, like, you know, tension. Like, my tension was like cranked all the way up, and I was really grinding the tumblers and all that stuff. And yeah, but you learn after a while. Okay, I more tangents. It's okay. This is going to be my first video in a long time, so I'm just getting all my anxiety out as well. So just bear with me, and I don't blame you if you move on to another video, or, you know, maybe you might find this helpful. Comes with 7-piece tension flat bars, and these go from, I think, 0.3 mil to half a mil in width. Yeah, and actually, they may have the thickness on them. No, they don't. They just say Barebones. I do have a digital caliper. I can measure them. But it's okay. But I think, yeah, these aren't like the super heavy bars, like, you know, 1 mil, 1.3 mil. These go up to, like, I think half a mil or 0.4 mil. thickness. So yeah, that's the thickest bar. So maybe 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, maybe. Yeah, I can measure them. And then there's a bottom of the keyway wiper blade. Nothing fancy to it, but you know, this could be modified to be used for some specialty purpose keyway. So I really like scrap pieces of metal or other pieces of metal, and you never know, this key tension tool would be great for like bottom of the keyways of some of the locks. So I'm going to try it out. I think my experience so far is like having all kinds of different tension tools could be very, very helpful. But my favorite tension tool, and if you see me pick my other locks, like, you know, years ago when I was picking, are pieces of bra wire, you know, like the underbra wire. I would cut them, bend the tip a little bit, and do like a little half twist or quarter twist on it. And they, without fail, would always just like lock on to the top of the keyway, nice firm grip. And if and you know, they would work great for me. But I do try to use the bars as well, and bent bars. I've used, like, you know, for padlocks. But I also love my bra wire tension tools. Yeah, I use the bra wire tension tools like 90% of the time. So, but yeah, so that's great. So we got the tension tools, and then the other part to talk about with this kit is obviously the case. So it's just a basic case. When I made my order, though, I ordered the pouch and they sent me the case. And I guess they might have made a decision to change out the pouch for the case because they sent me some additional picks, and maybe they felt that this case may not hold like all the picks, or and if I were to put like handles on them. Oh, and the other thing too is like I ordered the picks without the handles. I'm a bit on a budget. And I'm okay with like I have a 3D printer, so I can print my own scales. I call them scales, or my handles, and there are freely downloadable STL files on the Barebones site. So I downloaded and printed just one of each of the propeller handle and the basic handle. And I do have, I already pre-allocated some of the M2 by 6 millimeter screws, and I'm going to put, you know, the handles on the picks and, you know, get a feel for them, try them out and see which ones I like more, and then, you know, print out the rest of the handles maybe. So yeah, so that was the other thing too. But on the site, they do have like other handles available. I like the handles that they have like a bit of a patinaed finish on them. They come like already pre-assembled with the picks, and they look really, really cool. I just didn't have the budget to go all in with those. So I just wanted like a really good set, you know, beginning to end. So so the case is good. It's a decent case. But yeah, it was just, it's weird because I thought I ordered the pouch, and this feels like this is like the basic case, right? And that's fine, you know. It's okay. Maybe I might make another order and just get like just the pouch by itself, you know, just so I have that, you know, in a future thing. No big deal, no big fuss. Especially because, you know, they were generous to give me some extra stuff here too, and we'll go through that as well. Now I also ordered some extra things to go into this kit. So this expanded kit, they give you 16 picks, 8 of 20 thousandths of the rakes and the hooks set, and then 8 picks, 23 thousandths of the rakes and the hook set, and then the tension tools, which is like 7 bars. The piano wire. Oh, I forgot to talk about the piano wire. So they give you flattened end piano wire, which is a very popular tension tool. Well, I haven't used too much piano wire tension tools in the past, but some people love them. They love them because they're really, really stiff and they can give a lot of feedback. I find them too wide at the end, so like I would have to do some work and trim them down, at least for like a lot of the locks that I've been working on. So what I added to that, like in my order, were a set of the 3 bones deep hooks. Some of the locks that I'm working on, and when you look at locks with like, you know, high back pins being guarded by like a lower pin in front of it. You want to get behind that pin, that low cut pin, so you can, lift that high cut pin without oversetting the low cut pin. And with some of the locks, it makes more sense to go from the bottom of the keyway underneath through the chamber up. So some of the deep hooks would be helpful for that. Especially with some of the more paracentric locks, it's hard to pick off the warding. And for me, at least, because of my capabilities, I tend to like overset if I try to like pick from the warding, and like I'll get the whole shaft kind of like into the crevice at the warding, and I'm lifting pins everywhere and oversetting pins, and then you get nothing, as a result, right? And yeah, so I'm looking forward to these deep hooks. They kind of remind me of the SS Dev pick ends in a way, because when you look at the tips, some of the tips are a little bit finer than the others. The shaft profile is a nice thin shaft profile, so they can get into some keyways, and these would be great, like for that 7-pin oval lock. I didn't look at the bitting, but yeah, there you go. There's an example, kind of an example, when you look at this 7-pin, and sorry, I keep hitting my camera. When you look at the bitting for this key, you'll see that pin 7 is kind of high, and then pin 6 is just like a little bit lower, but there's some bittings where the pin 6 would be like almost like a really, really, really low cut. And, to get the pick through the keyway, especially a 7-pin lock, to lift that pin, in this case, is not too bad. Like, I don't see me oversetting if I can get in through the bottom of the keyway. But if I even like pick through the warding, you can see here, I can kind of find my way around and then not overset that pin when lifting. So anyway, so yeah, so these are the 3 Bones deep hooks. So really, really looking forward to that. I also purchased some additional tension tools, because like I said, I like my tension tools, and I do love my bra wire tool the most, but I'm also trying to learn how to use other TOK, BOK tension tools. I don't know why I keep saying TLC, but you know what I mean. So one of the tension tools is the ferrule tension set. So these are great for padlocks. You can see there's like a bit of a trim to them. So they're meant to like, fit well into the top of a keyway. And they're meant to like, for the most part, go in one direction. So usually if I have a padlock, so let's pull up an American lock here and put that into the top. It's gonna, the cutaway helps you show more of the keyway and not block that first pin, and also prevent you from going too deep into the top of the keyway where you might be rubbing against that first pin as well. So the ferrule picks are in 3 different thicknesses, and I think it's 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, I believe, as well. And like these are great for top of keyway, and there's like 2 different lengths for deep. So if you have locks where the keyway is like below the guard, excuse my lingo, I'm really, really rusty, you might need to use like a slightly longer top of keyway. Okay, yeah, so that's that. So the ferrule tension wrenches, and then I did kind of like a WTF, and I got these light tension tools as well. They're just in a couple of thicknesses, but 2 different sizes. Like I said earlier, like, like I love just having like extra pieces of metal strips available, and these are like different widths, different, like, so if I look at the profile, you can see one is a little bit thinner than the other. They're already pre-bent, but these are good to like to shape for some custom stuff too. And there's some locks that I'm looking at where it might make sense to make a customized tension tool. Like, for example, to really pick that M heart, that Corbin M heart lock. There's a lot of people have created like a really cool, it looks almost like a comb pick tension tool, which is really, really neat. Now, I wouldn't be doing that with this here because these aren't wide enough to do that, but along those lines, like sometimes building or shaping a custom tension tool just for a particular lock is the way to go, right? So it's always good to have like different pieces available, and you never know when down the road, a piece might look useless right now, but down the road, it'd be the most helpful thing for you, and you might have like that aha moment. Oh, I have something that might work exactly if I just do like a little bit of work on it. So yeah, so I got these guys too, and these would be great for bottom of the keyway. And I also like the fact that they're a little bit thinner, and it might be good for me, like if I want to get into like raking some locks as well. But I'm not a raker, but and usually a lot of people when they rake they use bottom of the keyway tension tools. So yeah, so that's that. So we gone through what I ordered, and I'm gonna put these to the side for now, and then let's take a look at some of the freebies or some of the gifts. Oh, the tweezers. This was like 25 cents on the website. I said, oh, you know what? Great. I have lockpicking disassembly tweezers that have like a little bit of a rounded end, like meant to hold around key pins and to pick out key pins. But these would be great for like pulling out springs and just for some finer detail. So it's good to have sharp edges too. But like for tweezers, I really don't care. They're fine for me. So there's the tweezers. Okay, so thanks for your support. Here's a free gift from us to you. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Barebones, I love it. And oh wow, these tension tools look pretty cool. I forget what the name of them were, but that's okay. I'll have to like look on, but they have like a bit of a twist to, oh, I think like femur or something like that, like different types of bones. So there's a tension tool with one twist, another one with looks like 3 twists, 2 of them with 3 twists, and they look like to be different thicknesses, different widths, different types of steel even. This guy is like a mirror finish. These guys look like wiper blade inserts. This is just a regular L-shaped tension tool. It's not double bent, and these are Z shape. These could be top of keyway, bottom of the keyway. Usually, like the way I kind of like see that, like, tension tools are whichever way you want to use them, right? They all have like general labels, but for like a lot of the top of the keyway tension tools, you'll see like there might be like a bit of a taper finish at the top or a bit of a cut, a little indent cut, so that way it kind of restricts how deep it goes into the top of the keyway without touching the pin, and it shows more of the keyway to you as you're picking, because it provides like a bit of a ledge to sit on. And like bottom of the keyways typically don't have any of that. Some of the bottom of the keyway tension tools that I've seen, there would be like a bit of a taper at the bottom, so that way they can fit varying types of shapes and thicknesses and thinnesses and angles and convoluted pathways and stuff like that. And like the taper is good because it'll go in only so far until it starts getting stuck, and that's what you want. You want like a good firm connection for the most part when you're tensioning a lock, which is why I like my slightly twisted tip bent underbra wire. Even though it's really, really thin, it creates multiple contact points at the top of the keyway point, because that twist touches both sides diagonally, kind of thing. hard to explain. I'll show in another video what I mean. But yeah, so it's exciting. It's somewhat similar to the universal tension tool that you might have seen some videos about. I think Chris Capoon was the original genius behind that particular tension tool, and there was a great video from Fish Picks. Yeah, Fish Picks. Oh, I miss watching his videos. I loved his videos. I think he did like a deeper dive in that universal tension tool. So some of that thought process was like, with my bra wire tool as well, and it makes sense. And actually I have some wipers that I'm going to make some universal tension wrenches to and just, add them to my repertoire. But even some of these I could kind of like adjust to be universal tension tools as well, if I really wanted to. So yeah, really cool. Awesome. So thank you so much for these tension tools. And then let's take a look at these picks. All right, so no stickers though. I don't see any stickers, but that's okay. And actually, I'm going to try to look up your address, Barebones. I have some stickers, some scratches, but that's okay. So 5 extra picks, and I'm looking at the profile. I'm feeling the thickness. They feel like 23 thousandths. Yeah, they feel like 23 thousandths. So this, and I'm looking at the profile and the tips. 3 of them look like gems, and a couple of them look like rounded tips. So like if I look at this guy here, it's a little rounded, but I like how it's like really, really narrow. So that might be good for some of those like really, really funky, deep keyway, paracentric keyway chambers where you need to really, really kind of like move around and try to get something in there without hitting too much warding and obstacles. And this guy here is like slightly rounded. It looks like a deep hook. Feels like 23 thousandths. I don't want to pull up my digital calipers. And then these guys look like, this looks like a gem profile, like a textbook style gem profile. It's kind of squared off at the edge, but it also feels like a small half diamond. Right, so that looks like a gem. And this could also, well, no, it looks like a regular, maybe like a medium to deep hook as well, but I like it's like a little bit tapered and thin at the end too, not as tapered and thin as the other ones. Oh, this one looks like another gem profile. I think this might be the gem set, so they could all pass for like gem profiles. They're not tumbled either. Yeah, I think I remember scanning through the website and I saw there was like a 5-pick set that were all different types of gems. I'll take a deeper look at that, but this feels like 23 thousandths. You know what? Stop guessing, Alex. I'm not that much of an expert. I'm just going to pull up my calipers. I'm already 50 minutes in. You guys got me for like an hour, all right? I'm just joking. I'll probably be done soon. But let's just turn this guy on and see what we got. Yeah, 22.5, 23. Yeah, so these are 23 thousandths. Not bad, eh? Come on. Yeah, 22.5, 23. Yeah. So I think, oh, yeah, there's like numbers at the bottom. I'm old. I'm like 50. I turned 55 years old today. See, now you guys have kind of like pretty much my date of birth. So you're going to like pretend to be with me, pretend to be me, steal my identity, hack into my social media, Facebook and email accounts. I know. It's okay. You can have my credit cards. They're all maxed out. Please make a payment to them. So yeah, 23 thousandths. Oh, that's cool. Like they're numbered. The thicknesses are numbered, but like there's no model information, but that's fine. Barebones Australian pickers. Oh, I love it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna put those scales on them. So thank you so much. This is awesome. I really, really appreciate it. So yeah, just to go through my experience purchasing from Barebones, fantastic experience. The order was quickly packed and shipped. Their website very, very comprehensive. The standard post, well, actually, it was expedited post using like their national postal provider, Australia Post, which means that Canada Post on my end will be doing it, receiving the item. What I purchased ended up being about 300-ish Australian dollars, and then shipping was like another 25 Australian dollars, and my duties and taxes and everything was about, I think, like 33 Canadian dollars. So, about, I'd say, yeah, 13%, for duties and taxes, which was pretty good. And then I think there was like a $10 handling fee. And if I compare that, like to me, there is a purchase from the U.S. That I got some Greyhound pick stuff that I'll do like an unboxing and a video on that as well. Yeah, I'm an addict, but the taxes and duty were killer. It was like 30% extra on top of everything, which was like double the amount of duties and taxes compared to buying from Australia. So, but it also was pretty quick. I got that stuff within a week too. And I guess that's the norm. That's the expectations now. It's just it's there are some Canadian lockpick manufacturers, Sparrows. A lot of people have some negative things to say about Sparrows, but I think a lot of their tools are pretty good. I have quite a few Sparrows products, and actually I have like a full kit that I kind of curated myself. I bought like a whole bunch of like different single picks, like different thickness monkey paws, the SS Dev picks, and some other picks, and I made my own set from that, and then I created my own handles. And there's actually a video that I did in the beginning about me, looking at different handles to put on, the Sparrows picks. And some of the shafts might be like a little deformed or dented, because they went through like a lot of work. So the steel is, could be considered like a little bit softer, but for the most part, like, and, I was using those in the beginning too. Like those were my first real set of picks besides the 2 Chinese picks that I bought. I bought the black spring steel ones, easy to break, but then I bought a set of Huck, 30 thousandths of an inch. I think it's like 27 thousandths, 30 thousandths of an inch thick picks, for some like my beginner picking, really good strong picks too. And actually I use some of those in other locks. Like I'm using one of those Huck picks in one of the goal locks that I have. It's I think the goal U9, if I remember. I was using a Huck pick as kind of like a flag in the goal, because it was like a strong, it was like almost 30 thousandths of an inch thick for the material. So yeah, like if I were to make a recommendation, I think this is the perfect beginner set, for the price as well. If you have like the extra bucks, get it with the handles. If you have a 3D printer, the other thing too is like when I bought this Barrels tuxedo set too, because I wanted something that I can like bring with me in my backpack everywhere, and put some padlocks in there, and just like do some in hand picking. So I have this tuxedo set, which is like all 23 thousandths with the exception of one of the hooks, which is a 15 thousandths. But I got these rubber handles from, I think it was like the Huck set, the 30 thousandths Huck set. And these handles are great. I even have one of them in my covert instruments. I have like an Echelon slash Genesis combined pick set in one package. I got a lot of picks. Don't get me wrong. I didn't need to buy these picks, but I just wanted to buy them. Like, I am putting together like a collection. I think it's good. Like, this is like the history of lockpicking. I've been around since the early 90s. 1991, there was like an e-zine that was released called the MIT Guide to Lockpicking. And I was, an adolescent. Oh, actually, yeah. No, I was late blooming teenager. But there were even other zines before that MIT Guide to Lockpicking. There's like a lot of underground zines out there with like lockpicking stuff. And back in the 80s, that's how far back I go. I was, a juvenile, and I got into like a lot of trouble back then, and happy to share some of those stories, but we won't do that today because I'm looking at the time. But yeah, so those are the picks. So I'm going to put all of these together. I'm actually going to rubber band some of them with my friendship bracelet bands as well, so they're easier to identify for me. But I'm going to put these different handles on as well. Try them out, see what I like, and then go ahead and print a whole bunch of handles. And in this case, I'll print like 21 handles and put them on and see what that looks like. I don't know if I have 60 M2 by 6 screws, but we'll see. We'll figure something out. But yeah, these are the picks, and actually I might run them lightly through some 600 grit sandpaper just to get rid of the sharpness with some of the edges for these guys. But yeah, so that's my unpacking video. 1 hour. Thanks to those still here at the end. It'll be interesting to see how far we fast forward. How many people fast forward through like different sections, and I'll try to build out like the chapters as well. I'll do like the post-production and like a quick, check. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to work on like the video, chapterize it, and then upload it, so I don't give away too much of when my birthday was, like back in July or June or May or April or whenever it was that I actually recorded this video. That's all. But yeah, that was my birthday present for me, and today is my birthday. And for me, it's kind of like a new beginning, getting back into the lock sporting community. Really looking forward to this and reconnecting with a lot of you out there as well. I missed a lot of the conversations and some of the mentoring that I received. And, I had Jimmy keeping an eye on me here, watching over a lot of me lockpicking. So I have tons of Jimmy. He looks like, like a UK kind of hooligan kind of, like those Guy Ritchie hooligan gangster kind of guys, but he's an American decent guy. But this, for some reason, like when I see this picture, I'm thinking like one of the characters in a Guy Ritchie film. I'm sure Jimmy from Jimmy Long's, I don't even know if Jimmy is his real name or first name or not, but I'm sure, and I don't even know if this is really his picture or not, but I'm sure, he's a nice guy. He is a nice guy. But I'll show my Jimmy Long's picks as well, because that's my biggest set of picks from one manufacturer. I think I got like 30 picks from him in 15 or 16 thousands. Some picks in 18 thousands, some picks in 19 thousands, and some picks in 23 thousands. And yeah, that's pretty huge. But I'll go through that. And then also, as I start getting back into the groove or whatever, part of my intention is to do like a bit of a giveaway. And I think, I'll do some videos like, picking with these picks or whatever, but maybe, I might do like a bit of a giveaway as well. Like, we'll see. We'll see, how things unfold. Because I always I always loved being a part of the community and contributing to the community. There is like, we don't really have like big lock sporting in Toronto. There is a tool chapter in Toronto, but it's very, very newcomer people who've just more of like a curiosity for the most part, but it's not like, like regular lockpicking meetups and people wanting to like learn and get more advanced. Yet there are some people there. There are some people that are in like, the LPU community, and they are going through the belt ranking system like I have done. There is, one gentleman with a black belt that he goes there. He had a bit of a burnout too, and he's taking a break. But there's a couple of other people. But for the most part, like 90% of the people that go to those tool meetings once a month is just like more introductory, curiosity, fun evening, which is great too, because it just builds awareness, to the lock sport. So that's all I got. We're at an hour. Look at that. I did pretty good, guys and girls, women, boys, men. Thank you so much for your patience, and feel free to leave comments. Tell me what you liked about this, what you didn't like about it. Correct me if I made any mistakes. I'm always learning. I'm teachable, right? I don't know everything, and I'm so happy to be getting back into this. And this is my birthday present to myself as well. Part of it, at least. You'll see, like, I've spent quite a bit of money buying some stuff. I bought like a whole bunch of other locks as well, and everything. So I'm just gonna get back into it, but hopefully I won't, overwhelm myself and burn myself out like I did the last time too. So glad to be back, and happy lock picking, and I'll see you the next time. Cheers.